Just because someone wants something from you doesn't mean you're supposed to give it to them. Karen Aman. Most of us don't realize it's happening. Not at first. We think we're just being helpful, kind, easy to work with. But somewhere along the way, the lines blur. What started as generosity turns into guilt. What looked like selflessness becomes self-erasure. And before we know it, we're carrying everyone but ourselves. I used to think being a good person meant always saying yes. Yes to favors. Yes to extra hours. Yes to invitations I didn't want. Yes to conversations that left me drained. I said yes because I didn't want to let anyone down, even when I was falling apart myself. But what I didn't realize was this. Every time I said yes out of guilt or fear, I was saying no to myself. And slowly, I began to disappear. There came a point when I couldn't ignore the exhaustion anymore. I was constantly stretched thin. My peace was gone. I felt like I was running on fumes, trying to be everything for everyone, while neglecting the person I actually had to live with. Me. So, I made a decision. For one season, I would only say yes to what was truly necessary. My family, my health, my actual job. Everything else? I'd pause. I'd ask myself, is this truly aligned with what I value? Or am I just afraid to say no? What I found during that season was startling. I had been overcommitting for years. Not out of love, not out of purpose, but out of fear. Here's how it looked. Someone needed help moving. They asked me because I have a truck and strong. I didn't want to. I had plans. I was tired. But I said yes, because I didn't want to seem selfish. Another person asked me to organize snacks for a team event. It wasn't my role, but I'm so organized, they said. I agreed, even though I knew I'd resent it the whole time. And then there were the sympathy requests. The recently divorced friend who needed a sitter for a full Saturday. The coworker who didn't know how to do something, but figured I'd help because I always do. Every time I agreed, I felt a pang, but I smiled through it because I thought, that's what good people do. But the truth is, good people don't abandon themselves to prove they care. Just because I can do something doesn't mean I should. I started to realize I wasn't being kind. I was being compliant. And compliance without authenticity is not kindness. It's self-abandonment. And over time, I noticed something worse. People began to expect my yes, not appreciate it, not consider what it cost me, just assume it. When I became the dependable one, I stopped being seen as a person. I became a utility, a service, a resource, and eventually, I didn't even recognize my own limits anymore because I was too busy being useful. So I practiced saying no, not with guilt, not with an apology, just no. I stopped over-explaining. No, I can't take that on right now. Thanks for thinking of me. It felt awkward at first, but the more I said it, the more powerful I felt. Not powerful over others, powerful within myself. Because every time I said no to something misaligned, I was saying yes to something sacred, my energy, my integrity, my mental health. Not everyone liked the new me. Some sulked, some guilt-tripped, some accused me of being distant or cold. But here's what I realized. When you've trained people to expect your self-sacrifice, they'll mistake your boundaries for betrayal. Let them do it. Because anyone who demands you betray yourself to stay connected was never truly connecting with you. They were connecting with what you gave them. I started paying attention to the silence that followed my boundaries, and I learned that silence is telling you something. It tells you who respects your no, and who only liked you when you were overextending. And then I noticed something else. I used to lie, not maliciously, but politely. I said, maybe, when I meant no. I said, I'll try, when I had no intention of doing it. I smiled and nodded while resenting every second inside. Those weren't white lies. They were little leaks in my self-respect. I wasn't protecting their feelings. I was avoiding my truth. And truthfully, I had never learned how to disappoint someone without feeling like I was a bad person. But I know better. Now, disappointing others doesn't make you bad. It means you're finally telling the truth. One night, I wrote a list. On one side, all the things I said yes to that left me drained. Tasks I didn't want. Conversations I didn't have capacity for. Events I left feeling worse from. On the other, all the things I longed to do but never had time for. Rest, reflection, my own goals, time with the people who actually filled me back up. The contrast broke my heart. I was giving away my life in tiny pieces for the sake of being liked, but being liked is cheap. Being whole is sacred. So, I stopped chasing approval. I started liking myself. And liking myself meant making uncomfortable decisions. It meant risking misunderstanding. It meant letting some people be disappointed in me, so I could stop being disappointed in myself. It meant resting when I was tired. It meant leaving the party early. It meant not replying to every message right away. It meant not just setting boundaries, but honoring them. Because boundaries aren't walls. They're clarity. They're freedom. If you feel like you're drowning in yeses, if you're tired of pretending, performing, pushing past your own limits just to keep others happy, I want you to know, you're allowed to stop. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to choose peace over performance. You're allowed to disappoint others, as long as you stop disappointing yourself. There's a kind of grief that comes with changing. Not the loud kind, the quiet one. You grieve the version of yourself who always said yes, the one who tried so hard to be liked, needed, useful. You grieve the way people used to praise you, not for who you were, but for how much you gave. And it's tempting to go back, to shrink again, to be who they remember. But healing means staying present through that ache, not running from it, letting the sadness come and pass. Because what's on the other side of that grief is the grounded, honest version of you, the one who finally believes you don't have to earn rest or peace or love by burning yourself out. And if you want to explore these ideas deeper, everything I've shared here was inspired by a book that helped me reset my boundaries and rewire my mindset. It's called When Making Others Happy is Making You Miserable. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to read it. If this video helped you, subscribe. I'll be back next week with another story like this. The kind that reminds you, you're not here to be everything to everyone. You're here to live honestly, and that starts with one simple sacred word: no. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel to support the community. Namaste.